You're not the only one feeling or thinking what you're feeling and thinking, mama. I am too. Welcome to the Mom Bar, a pro-mama, mother-loving community focused on sharing simple truths, intimate thoughts, and real discussions about the journey of motherhood, all while committing to love the life that God has designed for you. This is a space for first-time mamas, work-from-home mamas, baby mamas, millennial mamas, stay-at-home mamas, single mamas, angel mamas, insert here types of mamas. And if you can check more than one of these boxes, the Mom Bar is exactly where you need to be. I'm your host, Day Hayes, stay-at-home mama, recovering perfectionist, mother of 3 under 3, wife, author, and most importantly, to all of my identities are being a daughter of Christ. We've been kept out of grown folks' business for way too long. But hey, we're here now. So let's talk about it. As your MFF, mama friend in faith, I'll hold space so you can mind your motherhood, vulnerably share my own mom tales, remind you that you are still that girl, and decide if the issues that we're dealing with should be pumped or dumped. So get in, mama. We're going on a faith ride. Because we can talk about these things, we can connect, and we can problem solve. But to be honest with y'all, the internet be getting me caught up sometimes, and I just have to share with you all one time when my son was having an allergic reaction to something, and you all know what I did. I'm not gonna lie, I went to Mr. Google, I tried to self-diagnose him, and my husband said, "You have got to stop going to Google." And it really frustrated me because there are a lot of times where I feel like we've become a little handicapped on going to Google in this information age and scouring these multiple pages of information to find our answer. When sometimes our answer to what we are experiencing is going to be right in our community. It's in the community and circle of just getting in the room. It's in the community and circle of hitting up your girlfriend who may have had a little one your age, and you just need to let your pride go for a second and ask them a question. This is why I feel like community is so important, because there is something powerful when we can just get in the room. Getting in the room is such a blessing because it helps you to connect with others who've walked your experience and don't have amnesia about it. Let me be clear. Half the stuff I asked my mother, she's like, I don't really remember. Like, it takes her a second to go back and think to the time when I was 2 years old and I may or may not have had tantrums and how she responded to those tantrums. And I want to reference a scripture on this episode that highlights just getting in the room. Amos 9:13. It says, "The time will come, says the Lord, when the grain and grapes will grow faster than they can be harvested. Then the terraced vineyards on the hills of Israel will drip with sweet wine." I was a little confused as to the connection of getting in the room. At first, when God revealed this, I was like, huh, Lord, like, what you talking about? But he was saying the blessing of being in the room is starting to connect to the branches and the vines so that you can begin to produce things. When I finally let go of my pride and finally let go of the little g Google as my guide for all of my answers and begin to just reach out into my community that God blessed me with, I got answers. I got an overflow. I was being grafted into community. And that's why the Mom Bar is so important to me. When God first gave me this title, this label for this community, I really didn't think that it was Christian oriented, because we all know what a bar is, what people do when they go to a bar, the things that they may engage in that may lead to some sinful nature. So I sat on it for some time, and I was actually a part of another community, which brought me into this topic of just getting in the room. Raven Hoquette, who is an amazing, super phenomenal mother, boss, mentor, woman of God, wife. Like, the woman is just fire. I did a 40 days of prayer and fasting with her community, and then I joined Increase 365. I'm talking about overflow, overflow, overflow of just getting in the room and staying in the room and letting my heart, my mind, and everything be transformed in ways that I didn't think possible. And we did these declarations, and I was like, I declare that God is going to give me a new business that is going to stick, that is going to multiply, that is going to be so many things, so much ministry. Is going to impact women. It's going to really speak to the challenges that I had as a mom. And then God gave me this name, the Mom Bar. Y'all, I sat on that thing for 3 weeks because I was like, you know what, enemy, what you not going to do is try to manipulate what God is trying to give me. And I wanted to make sure that I was not crazy. And then God expressed to me, he said, yes, the Mom Bar is the community that you are going to launch. The Mom Bar is going to be a circle and a space of connection and communication for millennial mothers like you who had children during the pandemic and may not have had all of the resources needed to create community, to create a tribe, to raise their children. You know, moms who had to maybe step out of the workforce during the pandemic because there was no daycare to send their kids to, and so they became work from home moms. Moms who realized that in the pandemic, postpartum depression is like a very real thing. Moms who couldn't have somebody hold their hand in the hospital when they delivered during a pandemic because of all of the restrictions. Like, there's so much new research that is being done and focus groups that's being done on this population, and it blows my mind because I recognize I am a part of that community. And so I find it very fitting and very calling, and I have a very sweet and soft spot for mothers who had children during the pandemic, for mothers who lost children during the pandemic as they were, were birthing. And I just knew finally when God revealed that to me, he said, this is the room you're going to create. And then God said, and you're going to call other women who have experienced what you've experienced into this room. And if they just choose to get obedient and get in this room and get connected to you and decide to communicate and decide to engage and listen, they are going to be blessed. Their vineyards are going to be blessed. Their grain and grapes are going to grow faster than they can be harvested. And I've been experiencing that my own self. So I'll just tell y'all my testimony again. Pandemic mother. I worked in the corporate workforce in 2019. I actually decided to leave right before the pandemic, right before the crazy for real came. And I was working in nonprofit education with a large communication company. And this company just overnight, when I say y'all, literally overnight after the pandemic hit and schools had to shut down, there was a need for Wi-Fi in communities where kids did not have access to Wi-Fi. And what happened to be a slow job became a booming business overnight. And my role and my workload became crazy. My son was like only 7 or 8 months, if that. I just was like, I don't want this for my life. I was like, God, I need to do something different. And I had already felt like God was calling me out of that space. But what I also fell into was isolation, not having community because of the pandemic, not being able to find a mom group or doing play dates or connecting with a tribe in a way that I would like to, or having my family help me in the way that I would have prior to the pandemic because of all of the different health scares and me having a little one and there not being a vaccine. And it just was so many different elements that I didn't know I was going to have to encounter, but I recognized in me going and growing through that, it was a lot of unhealed parts of me. It was like, okay, yeah, I'm having to deal with the normal mothering pains of feeling like a superwoman after I done delivered this child, but then feeling completely incompetent because I can't produce enough milk, but I can't get in a mom group to help encourage me outside of being online on how to figure out how to produce enough milk. I'm scrolling aimlessly on Instagram at the time when I was on Instagram because that's the way of the world right now. Nobody can leave their home. So everybody's on the internet. Everybody's connecting in that way, which really and truly for me wasn't true connection. Like, y'all, I am a meet me in person. Let's sit down for coffee. Let's kiki. Put my feet up on the couch. You put your feet up on the couch. I make you a nice little meal. Like, I love real community, real connection, and not having that in the transition and throes of becoming a mother was the most difficult point of time in my life. And that layer of the pandemic, yes, it happened and it has happened, but there's a layer of trauma for mothers that I truly feel like we need to focus on and that we need to heal from. And it's created this isolated motherhood when we as women are not designed to be alone. We're designed to thrive in community and thrive in connection. And there's so many women that I've met who've said it's been difficult to create community. It's been difficult to reconnect as this new version and identity of yourself and find this new voice. And I just echo all of those sentiments, all of those challenges that I've experienced during the pandemic, post-pandemic, and navigating through that. Hence why the Mom Bar has been birthed. As I am pregnant with my third child, I am committing myself to what God has given me because I know that there are other mothers out there that can truly benefit from this. Hey girl, we here. I see you, you see me, and I just want you to get in the room so we can bless one another. So guys, that is the end of this episode. I absolutely love spending this time with you all, and I'm glad that you just got in the room. Ways to support the Mom Bar are to subscribe to the podcast, share with another mama, or become a member of the very important Mama Club on themombar.co. That is THEMOMBAR.co.